Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Aura News broadcast. I'm Daniel Cook, your host for the English News Edition, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. The High Inspectorate for the Declaration of Assets has filed charges against 17 officials who are accused of concealing their assets. A long list of 17 names has been submitted to the prosecution for investigation, including judges, customs officers, and tax directors, inspectors, and even heads of communes. In addition to the charges that have been filed against them, the High Inspectorate for the Declaration and Audit of Assets has decided to take administrative measures against the 17 implicated officials. While many complain about the pollution that seems to have taken over the port of Durrës, the situation in the fishing port is even worse. The director of the environment responsible for the port, Mr. Shaziman Hoja, admits that the port is not being appropriately monitored. As the situation continues to get worse, the fishermen are demanding urgent attention be paid to this problem, which is so detrimental to their livelihood. They request immediate action. One concerned fisherman had this to say: "The pollution is not being caused by the irresponsibility of the ferry boat crews, but by the wastewater and the discharge from the ferries themselves." The fishermen asked for immediate action to allow the fishing industry to return to work under normal conditions. There are 3 licensed purification companies that have been employed at the port, but the fishermen claim that their duties have been largely neglected. The results of the early studies by the environmental authorities show that the level of pollution is 3 times higher than the permissible norms, and that oil, hydrocarbons, and solid waste are all being dumped in the sea. The energy operator OSHA has set July 10th as the final deadline for the businesses in Durrës to pay their energy bills. The company administrator, Adrian Çela, stated today that an operation will begin after this date and that the energy will be cut off for all businesses that have not paid their bills. Çela said, "Businesses must pay their unpaid bills by July 10th because after this date, they will no longer be furnished with energy. After receiving their bills, businesses have 20 days at their disposal to pay them because we cannot allow the creation of new debts. Families have until July 15th to take advantage of the mitigation plan. There will be no tolerance after this date. The company will no longer offer the mitigation plan after July 15th, said the administrator of OSHA. According to the company, the income had reached 34.3 billion lek in June, which is 11.4 billion more than the same period a year ago. Meanwhile, losses have dropped down to 32.3% from the 40.3% that was posted last June. It has been announced that very soon a stock exchange is going to be opened up for the Albanian energy market, which will allow the buying and selling of shares in this important sector. According to the Ministry of Energy, Adrian Çela, the opening of a stock exchange is a condition for the liberalization of the energy market. He says that this exchange will greatly reduce the energy prices. By the year of 2020, Albania plans to be linked to other countries in the region through interconnection lines. Minister Çela said, "Albania is making steps toward the liberalization of this market. You already know that the government and the Albanian parliament approved the new law on electricity, which puts a schedule in place for the further liberalization of the market." Çela declared that the energy sector is currently headed in a positive direction and that this is the ideal moment for investments. "This is a good time," he said, "since the sector is on the rise. We are on the right track. The clients are paying their energy bills, we are connecting Albania with other countries, and by 2020, this process should be finished. Our goal is to connect with Kosovo, followed by Macedonia," Çela said. The minister added that there is a national plan for renewable energy as well, and that they are looking at future energy sources. The minister said that the intention of the Albanian government is to have an environment that facilitates investment in the energy sector and a liquid and functional market. The former Prime Minister PM Berisha recommended today that the Parliament establish a special commission to take measures against the asylum issue. In his own words, I call on the Parliament to establish a commission to take the measures that are necessary to stop the high flow of people who are leaving the country. Mr. Berisha declared that our country will soon be penalized for the massive departure of Albanians toward European countries if the situation does not change. He made the following statement today. The government says that there is no risk of the establishment of visas for our country, but this is not true. It will happen. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not after 2 months, but in the near future it will happen, because the government does not have a mechanism in place to stop this phenomenon, said Mr. Berisha. The former Prime Minister called the majority to take the necessary measures to stop the exodus, which according to him is the second biggest problem for the EU after the Greek financial crisis. The murder of the Czech tourists by the 20-year-old Sokol Mjacaj is directing the attention of the nation's leaders to the correctional facilities for minors. Just 1 month after Mjacaj was released from the correctional facility in which he was serving a sentence for the murder of a 13-year-old boy, he committed another killing. The ombudsman Igli Totozani declares that these institutions do not work. He stated today that the number of minors that are involved in criminal activity is very concerning, and that the institutional policies need to be established. That institutional policies need to be established that will integrate them back into normal life. In reality, there are 80 minors being held in prison in Albania. 11 of them have been convicted of various crimes, and the rest are being held in prison custody pending their trials. Thank you so much for choosing Aura News as your source for English updates. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.